that'll prevent them from drying out and give you problems when you start doing the other parts of this. We have a chamois, and it's just a piece of deer that use. Have a bucket of water, and we're going to just lay it over the side like that, and let's go this way. And we're going to put my index finger on the top and my middle finger on the outside and my thumb on the inside. And what I do is I just kind of squeeze those 3 points together, make long, smooth movements with it, and get it wet, clean it off about every, 10 seconds. Try not to get too much water on the inside. Squeeze, and you can get really beautiful lips on pots, hand-built pots or thrown pots, really, by using the chamois. Clean it off. If it builds up slip, it won't slide as well, which is not good. So you want to keep this thing long, smooth, and even movements all the way around. This is a little thinner lip than I really would like on this pot. I'd like for it to be a little thicker. Any sharp places that you leave are going to be like easy targets for chipping later. So the more rounded you can make this, the less chips later. So now I'm just going to let this set up a little bit. You can see the lip is, well, actually I'm going to make a little bit of an indentation. I like what's happening with the shadow right there, so I think I'm going to bend it out a little bit. So in order to do that, I'm going to take my fingers and bend it out like that a little bit as I come around the edge. You see what's going on there? Pushing down and pushing it out so that it creates a little bit of shadow area. That makes a little bit stronger statement at the top of the pot. The lip and the foot are actually the periods on the ends of the sentence that you're making the statement of. Okay, so pretty happy with that. And now it needs to set up for a while so that I can, it'll be stiffer, that I can turn it upside down and work on the foot. So I've got this area on the side down here that I need to work on, and so I'm just going to use the back of my serrated scraper and just kind of bend it like this again, and just kind of take that off. So I do it, I turn it, clean it off, do it, and I just repeat this over and over again. I'm kind of just wanting to get rid of that line at the bottom where the first coil met it. And I have this little cavity here that I can either keep going and just try to carve it down as much as possible, but at a certain point it will get, if I don't fill it in, it'll actually carve too thin there. So I'm going to take a little bit of clay and fill in those little areas. But at this point the clay is fairly dry, so I'm going to score the surfaces where I'm going to put those pretty much, and then I'm going to put a little slip in them. And then I'm just going to make a little thin coil. You don't have to even do this part. You could actually just take little pieces and stick in there. I'm going to just kind of fill those little holes in. And that makes it easier, I think. And now I'm just going to scrape that because it's a little too big in certain areas, and I'm just going to use this to fill in where the holes are, where the divots. Okay, and now I'm going to take my smoothing side and just kind of blend that in. I kind of like go at a diagonal with it, and that seems to work pretty well. Keep cleaning that off so you don't just make more of a mess than you're smoothing. So if I want this to sit flat, it has to have some kind of a foot on it. Now I could just kind of paddle it, make it flat there, but I like it to be raised up a little bit. So I'm going to create another little snake of clay and put a foot on there the same way I did the pinch pot. Now, the San Ildefonso Native Americans, as well as probably many other Native American tribes, have used an agate or a smooth stone to burnish these pieces, and you can actually decant clay and siphon off the water and use the thin particles on the water to make a terra sigillata. And the thinnest platelets of the clay, then you paint on the clay when it's like this, and then burnish back and forth, and you can get a very nice natural low sheen terra sigillata on it. And a lot of my compadres have done that with their clay pieces. Now I want this foot to be kind of small, but I want it to stand up a little ways. So I'm going to cut that off, and that is my foot. I'm going to scratch, slip, and schmuck that on. Oops, I used that term again. And I want it to be right in the middle, so I'm going to carve it or mark it on the inside, and then I'm just going to scratch it on the outside of that mark. Now, you can't be too careful in raku because the process is fairly unforgiving, so make sure you're using like a good vinegar slip. You can also make your own slip by drying out the kind of clay you're using, crushing it up, and then with a malt mixer or just hand mixing, you can mix vinegar together with dry clay. Vinegar has a tendency to shrink less. Now I'm going to just go around and join that together a little bit more on the inside, pushing it down, making sure it really is schmucked on. Oops. And even maybe paddling it just a little bit to get that to stay. And then on the outside, I like to use maybe a little tool like a pencil or a tool like this and kind of seal it right down there where it's sticking on the outside edge. And then sign it, you know. No name, no fame. I like to put the date on it so that when I'm old and gray, oh wait a minute, I already am, I can remember when I did these things. And now I'm going to put, like with a comb, a little bit of a design on it.